Prost! And welcome to another Lighthouse Quick Take. I promise you I am not drinking on the job. This is just here for effect because today, as you might have guessed it, we will be talking about one of the biggest global travel events, Oktoberfest. Now, if you're not familiar, Oktoberfest is an absolute powerhouse event for hospitality in Germany, more specifically Munich, typically attracting 6 to 7 million in attendance annually. This year's event just concluded on Sunday, October 5th, so let's dive into some data for the event. And let's kick it off with pricing. So overall, for all classes of hotels in aggregate, actualized prices increased 6.1% in 2025 compared to Oktoberfest 2024. And looking at Lighthouse data broken down by star rating, it shows a clear upward trend across all 3, 4, and 5-star tiers of hotels. The largest gain was observed in the luxury 5-star tier, which saw a remarkably strong 11.8% increase in pricing. And to be clear, this is a comparison from Oktoberfest 2025 versus the festival in 2024. So this was nearly 12% growth compared to the already premium prices achieved in 2024. This strength in 5-star pricing is a strong indicator for increases in affluent travel, with a greater proportion of high net worth travelers willing to pay a premium for a luxury travel experience. And good job by the luxury hoteliers for recognizing this and optimizing their rate and distribution strategies to achieve this substantial premium for their services and amenities. And now with Lighthouse's real-time pricing data, we are able to track lead time pricing, meaning how advertised prices evolved by day leading up to the festival. And for this, we will start at the 4-month lead time mark. Now, if you've never seen a chart like this before, the far right represents pricing as if you were to book a hotel room on the stay date itself. We call this final price. The y-axis represents the percentage premium or discount one would pay relative to the final price based on the amount of lead time ahead of the stay date that you book. So the zero lead time point at the far right will always be 0% because, like I said, that represents booking on the stay date itself. And as you can see, the chart tracks the premium charged by hotels from the 4-month lead time mark all the way through booking on the stay date. And this tracks the data for Oktoberfest in aggregate for each 2024 and 2025. So what do we see that's interesting here? First, we see just how relatively similar in shape the curves are for 2024 and 2025. Not identical, but strikingly similar. And in both cases, around roughly the 2.5 to 3 month lead time mark, that's when we see pricing really start to build. And in both years, we see pricing reach its peak, its apex, right around the 25-day lead time mark. And then almost like clockwork, we see prices starting to come down as hoteliers look to fill those last few rooms and hit those sellouts. Of course, the main difference between these two curves is the magnitude of the pricing premiums relative to final pricing. In 2024, pricing 4 months out was about 3.5% higher than the final price. But in 2025, it started at nearly 12.6% higher. And 2025's lead time pricing stayed aggressive, peaking around 14% above the final price, while 2024 peaked at around 10%. So what could explain this? Hoteliers in 2025 appear to have been more aggressive and confident with their initial early booking pricing. This could perhaps be due to historical confidence coming off a strong 2024, with hoteliers feeling justified in setting a higher initial price for 2025. It also could perhaps be due to a greater adoption of sophisticated revenue management tools that allow hotels to better forecast and price for peak demand. It's also worth noting that many guests appear to have been planning their trips to extend beyond the festival itself, with Lighthouse's daily demand indicators showing strength immediately before the festival started and continuing well into October following the festival's conclusion. So what are the takeaways here for hoteliers both in Bavaria and other parts of the world? I think it's pretty clear. Peak event periods require dynamic and aggressive pricing. For globally iconic events like Oktoberfest, demand is generally pretty inelastic. Don't be afraid to set a high bar, especially for your luxury tiers where data shows significant pricing power. Hoteliers should price aggressively early and then use strategic discounting only as needed to fill the remaining inventory closer to the date. Moreover, actively manage length of stay restrictions and promotional packages to capitalize on guests extending their trips. These are key strategies to maximize profits during those ever valuable high demand periods. Thank you so much for joining. I am now going to proceed to not drink this beer and pour it down the sink. This has been a pleasure as always. My name is Blake Reider, and this has been Lighthouse Quick Takes.